Marvel Rivals appears to be the Overwatch killer, something long talked about and desired by many developers and communities. But maybe take it with a grain of salt. Then again, I'm a casual guy when it comes to team shooters or team hero shooters. This blew my mind when I started playing this game, how well polished it was for a free-to-play game. It has so many different things going for it that Overwatch 2 has real competition for the first time in ages. One of the big things is it has a very strong IP with a laundry list of characters it can pull from, making it very easy to continue to grow content from it. More heroes, but a game cannot just be as strong as its IP. It has to be good on its own, as seen by Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League being a massive flop. But this is not a massive flop in any way. It is a terrific success, and it calls a lot into question with hero shooters, as we just saw Concord completely fail when many would say, oh, it's oversaturated, there is no room for a hero shooter in this day and age. And then Marvel Rivals pops up and it absolutely explodes. At the time of recording this, they have eclipsed over 20 million players have signed up and played this game. It is incredible. There's interesting innovations, but there's also, again, a great polish for a free-to-play game that anybody can just jump in. I first heard about this from Skill Up a little while ago, but it really didn't come into focus until my young cousin said he wanted it for Christmas, and then I'm trying to help my mom find the game. I'm like, oh, wait, this is free to play. You don't have to buy the game at all. So I said, heck, I'll download it. I play with my friends. I've been playing some here and there on myself, and I always bounced off Overwatch. I maybe played 5 or 6 games, but it felt like the learning curve was too high. Now, this is a new game. So obviously there's going to be a lot of noobs jumping on, and that's probably why this entry point's easy for me, like it originally was for my first time playing Overwatch. But I really bounced off Overwatch in 2015 when it was at the height, 2015, 2016, whenever it came out. I really bounced off that because it just seemed so difficult. I loved the lore. I loved the stories of it. I wanted to get into it, but I didn't have a group. I didn't have a team. You didn't have that synergies that you could just jump in on. Here, right now, it's popping off that even the casual can come in and have some good time with this game, which blows my mind. So what you've been seeing a little bit on screen here too is the practice arena. This is something that I see in games like Valorant or these esports type games that want to be culturally significant and be a part of esports long term. This screams to me that it's going to have legs, which is so surprising. Based on what? Well, the reception and the clear immediate dedication to an esports league. There's competitions already going on. They've built in ability to spectate when these big organized competitions are going on for this hero shooter. And it blows my mind to just see, again, the reception, whether it be online from other YouTubers that I've seen, headlines, the official Discord, and some of the other socials from the Marvel Rivals team. I'm utterly surprised by the success of this game out of nowhere, in the sense of nobody really was dying for, asking for another hero shooter, especially after a lot of flops with Marvel IPs. Square Enix's Marvel game is already out of its live service phase, and players are sick of not fun games. But I feel like Marvel Rivals has this fun factor to it, this it factor that I remember feeling when I played Overwatch 1. So what else is going on that's really going to make this game fill out, right? It's got crossplay. That's huge. You can be playing with consistent groups. I'm amazed how it's got crossplay. So what this allows you to do is constantly have an available player pool. That's something with other games and live service games that typically die when you don't have enough players playing the game. Having crossplay not only eliminates barriers for you to play with your friends if you're on different consoles, it also continues to grow that pool that even Call of Duty back in the day had to adopt in the past 5 years because of how much their player pool was shrinking. It also leads into it being approachable for casual players because a lot more casual players play on console. So seeing Xbox and PlayStation players along with PC players in these quick matches and public lobbies is really exciting for me as just a casual fan, because you have a lot of people enjoying this game together and trying to learn the new characters and have fun with strategies. Now, as this develops, I'm curious to see as metas are formed and people start figuring out which character is overpowered until there's patches that need to come out and such. That rebalancing is always a part of these type of games and communities, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it evolves over time. And that'll be a key factor in how long the lifespan of this game is, because the developers' ability to respond and make their game dynamic and alive is what keeps communities there. If it's the same game over and over again for years with the same problems, that really ends up messing up long-term enjoyment for the game. But there is plenty of history just to show how rough and toxic these communities can be and how online spaces can absolutely destroy what fun could be had in these games. This is the honeymoon phase that's coming out right now for a team hero shooter like Marvel Rivals. But again, this one feels different to me for some reason. And I'll totally eat my words. I'll be fine with it to be completely wrong. But it shocked me. For somebody that's also like marveled out, I'm having a blast playing this game. It has stuff too that builds that Overwatch doesn't have. I looked it up. They've been considering destructive environments. It's awesome to be able to see the walls being destroyed, the capture the flag sequences changing, so the paths are now different. This adds a dynamicness to the game that is absolutely enjoyable. It's something that continues to make strategy more important and teamwork. It's got me out of the mentality that I'm used to playing in like a Gears of War games I've played, Darkest Dungeon, and Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of those games end up being the best defense is an insane offense. You don't need to heal if you can just kill fast enough. That's not how hero shooters work at all, and it was really refreshing for me to be able to part of this. A good healer actually makes a difference, where in a lot of those other games, it's kind of like a benefit, or it makes games go way, way longer. Here, there's so many beautiful synergies, and they add these dynamics to it. I'm not familiar if Overwatch 2 added these things, but these team-up features are brand new to me. Again, as a casual, somebody that tried to get into Overwatch, couldn't be into Overwatch or any other team shooters for that matter. Concord looked like a bad Guardians of the Galaxy, so I didn't even touch that. And a lot of people felt similarly in that way, but there was another, it still looks well made. It still looked like a really competent game, but it just wasn't anything different. It wasn't anything fun and enjoyable enough to have people going crazy over playing that type of team hero shooter. Marvel Rivals is scratching that itch, where it's your familiar characters but different. Their designs are enough to make it feel like your own and new, and it feels like I'm playing a version of these characters that isn't the Marvel Cinematic version, which is kind of nice. You don't have that extra baggage that you might have with some of the other characters, but then again, you still have that familiarity. And that lore is what makes it so strong for some other players too, like someone like me. There's lore pages and there's unlocks and there's all this extra stuff for something that even like my casual cousin might want to play on this, and just he gets to interface with these heroes. He's going to find some of his favorite characters now are going to be these different Marvel Rivals heroes that you might not have heard of in mainstream comic books or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I had no idea. I'm not sure if she was created specifically for this game, Marvel Rivals, but there's like a healer and she's like a K-pop superstar that's on this team that uses like ice powers. Super cool. Never heard of her before. Maybe she did exist. I did a Google search for that. I wasn't seeing any comic covers. Again, totally fine to eat my words. I'm not an expert in that. And that's again why I felt so compelled to comment about this, is like, I'm not into this, yet it got me into this, and that seems like something special. It really does define when, oh, this is going to be one of those it games. We're going to be seeing this now hand in hand with Overwatch in all sorts of competitive leagues. I expect this to be a staple in a couple years' time when you have your Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends. Overwatch, will it sustain, or will this take over the place that Overwatch was? Overwatch League was a big failure. It seems like the studio that worked on this game took a lot of lessons from all the failures of the recent team hero shooters and just didn't make them. And it helped that they had the backing of the Marvel IP. And that also makes it so they don't have to do all that hard footwork that you had to do, is basically create a Pixar animated short and make people try and love these characters if you're trying to get that extra bit of crowd. That's how they really initially got their viral marketing campaign, because these were so incredible and so different. It took the internet by storm initially with Overwatch and all the short videos they released on their YouTube channel and socials. That got interest. And that cuts into that extra crowd of, yeah, well, you know what? I'm not a gamer, but I love Diva. I love Widowmaker. I love Tracer. These became the icons of Overwatch, and then it kind of simmered down over time, at least in the big casual mainstream. And it really became an exclusive place for really competitive people to play. I see Marvel Rivals taking that competitive nature of it because of these synergies like the team up features, where all of a sudden you have access to new abilities just because of how you're choosing your composition of your team, which is really cool. Again, it might be totally in Overwatch 2. Go ahead and correct me in the comments if that's true, but it's something that I haven't seen before inside a team hero shooter like this. I'm sure it's been done regardless. Like, they're not reinventing the wheel, but it just adds some extra fun to this game that as a casual, I didn't expect. On launch, you have 33 different heroes to choose from. That's a huge supply. I've maybe tried like 9, 10 people. I've tried to learn like 3 or 4 as I've gone into the training mode, and they're fascinating. The ones I was going for the most, Squirrel Girl was in there. I tried Hella, Storm, and I can't believe the ninja's name is escaping me right now, but they have been super fun. It's been cool to see, like, some games I'm absolutely killing, other games I'm getting squashed. It reminds me a lot of that high I used to get in Call of Duty, where you get in a public lobby, you get with a good team, and you just beat the crap out of the other team, and then you'd have one where you get destroyed, and then there's a lot of really good competition. I was finding a lot of close games. That mix of reward in there is something that I've missed deeply in these sort of player versus player games that I got turned off by for years, to be honest with you, where every game is exhausting and sweats, as they say in Call of Duty or other competitives. It doesn't really motivate you to want to keep playing. It's fun when you have that mix of getting crushed, crushing, or having competition. It's that variety. When everything becomes so samey, I think that's why a lot of players end up bouncing off the game. I love the design of the maps, getting back to the dynamicness of the environments, being able to destroy the environments and seeing all these different lanes and such are just so much fun to interact with, to play with and strategize with your team. I think it leads to a lot of excitement for what's the next map going to be. And they have all these iconic locations to make you hopeful, wonderful, like happy to be playing these places. It's not another generic laboratory. It's not a generic brown and gray fort. You have Odin's Fortress or Black Panther's home or future Japan. So many of these really cool set pieces. It's one after another. It's where I've felt this exciting immersion. And then there's a bunch of different modes. It's your standard hero shooters. There's no big shockers to me in what is available right now. There is a like escort the payload mode. There's straight up like basically a team deathmatch mode. There's like a capture the flag type of mode or capture the area. Those are the 3 familiar to me type of game modes. I didn't see anything else at the moment. But it's really all you need to get in there and get playing, especially in its early conception of this. I see this having a lot of legs, and they're treating it as such. I'm seeing a lot of updates from the developers continuing to release new skins, new announcements, free tokens and bonuses and stuff like that to try and get people to play more and more. It's fascinating. I still see it probably lacks some features here and there, but I love the UI system of this as well. It's pretty intuitive, which was surprising to me. And it is really great for being able to either learn about your character, learn what you want to get customized about your character, or learn the movesets. The on-screen tutorials are something that have become a staple in these type of games as time has gone on, as they encourage you to figure out combos with your characters, to figure out how to play your character so you can be competitive and enjoy the game for how they designed it, and then make it your own. I love the character designs. They're cute and adorable or fun. It has that texture to them that just hits the game just right for me, that I am really surprised with these 33 heroes that I could get another brand new take on these designs and be cool with it. There's so much exhaustion I have from this genre of heroes, superheroes for the past 15 years. We've been getting absolutely smashed with it. It's amazing that I cannot be burnt out on this because I can separate it. In the same vein, a lot of these characters feel like clones that you can easily jump onto of like, oh, that's Soldier 76. Oh, that's Widowmaker. Oh, that's Tracer. There's so many one-to-one equivalents from how the game plays, and some new ones as well that it easily steals people that are like, oh, I don't really have to relearn my entire character. They let Overwatch do all this work of getting that fan base, and then they improve on the things that they refuse to improve on, and then added some new things to entice those players that are so bored or so burnt out by the same type of hero shooter that they've been experiencing all these years. Now, obviously, this is a free-to-play game, so it has the skins economy like it does in Fortnite in a season pass. I don't know how I feel about that for this particular model. It's a model that's stayed pretty strong for the years, and there's a lot of games with live services. I've been absolutely thrilled to see them continue to fail over the past 5 years because there's a lot of not well-made games that have been put out to try and make a quick buck. And this seems different in that sense that this feels like an actual AAA game, which for free, that's wild to me. And I think that's why it's taking this giant vacuum that's probably been in gamers' libraries recently and filled that void. It has the casual crowd at the moment. It has a hardcore crowd at the moment. It has esports and money invested in it. It has the developers continuing to support the game. It has a really strong IP of characters that people already love or can easily fall in love with. The maps are interesting and iconic that allow for all sorts of different dynamic engagements to happen between battles and environments and players. It has crossplay, so it has a very large pool of players, so it's gonna make hand over fist. There's a lot of this psychology that goes into the season passes, that goes into the exploitations of a free-to-play game. They have challenges and achievements and all these different ways to earn currency. Now, I don't know how valuable that currency actually is for me. I've barely earned anything that could buy anything significant, and I've played like a few hours of the game. So it seems like it's a full-time job, just like every other live service game, to try and earn enough free stuff to not have to spend money. I don't know if that's actually possible, and I doubt it in what I was seeing recently, where like a game like Magic the Gathering Arena, you can play that game religiously, get your dailies, complete your challenges, do your drafts, and you can earn the really big currency that allows you to buy the expensive stuff that you could exchange for cash. I don't like how it hides behind conversions and different things. It's exploitive to children to try and get these skins, but it's not going anywhere. And it feels like this is a Fortnite equivalent for a team hero shooter. I don't know. I feel like I'm giving it a pass, a write-off. I'm not happy about it. I don't like how expensive this crap is. Everything looks super expensive and exploitative for the lattice that they're charging for to just go get some skins. But shit, I felt like, oh, I want to buy a cool skin for that character I'm really enjoying right now. They got cool designs. I mean, that's how they get you. But then, like, if you get a lot of good hours out of a game that was completely free, you're just like, hey, you know, why not support the developers? Why don't I support how cool this game is, and then I'm going to look cool while I do it and have a lot of fun? It's a weird balancing act because it fits this genre so well versus Call of Duty. To me, it's really lame and gross. Like seeing Nicki Minaj in Warzone is one of the great memes that has happened in the past couple years, because it's so far gone from like telling rugged real stories about how war is hell, from like World at War or the Spec Ops, where they definitely glorified war, but also you got to see how inhumane so much of this crap was. And they had those shock factors like no Russian or torture scenes and stuff that made some people, a lot of people didn't get the right lesson out of that, but it made a lot of people question like, what is going on here? Like, man, life is complicated. History can be written by the victors, and there's a lot of just bold political statements, and not just in the sense of politics, but morals, ethical, philosophical. Not everything was put through the hyper-focus of our American political system that has become so just insane. That's not the point and purpose, to see everything through that lens, but they had like reasons to give a crap about their game, right? You felt things when you played Call of Duty, and there's a bazillion essays, video essays out there that you can go look up to really dig into what I'm getting at. That is nowhere in existence right now in Call of Duty. Maybe I haven't played the newest one yet at all, so maybe hold my beer for that one. That might be an exception to the rule that's going on right now. But from the past many CODs, it's been soulless, it's been lifeless. There's been no bite, there's no heart, there's as many people say, no balls to Call of Duty anymore. And I use that as a comparison for Marvel Rivals and Fortnite, is because Call of Duty saw their success and tried to adapt that formula to a genre that didn't necessarily have a one-to-one adaptation for it, which frustrated the heck out of me, where I'm just like, I used to be able to tell the enemy just by the look when I would play old games of like, oh, that's the Spetsnaz. Oh, that's Delta Force. Oh, that's the Wehrmacht army. Oh, that's the Soviet Union Russian army. You could tell who was a good guy and a bad guy when their names went display just by the character outfit. Now, no idea, because they tried to adapt hero shooter. Overwatch's success really influenced Black Ops, where they had those specialist classes. Warzone was completely influenced by Fortnite and its battle pass, and all the crazy skins and all the emotes, and all of a sudden you're seeing like Soap and these very serious characters that were trying to deal with some really like political corruption, nuclear weapons, war crimes, and on with really serious topics. Now you have this massive clash in tone that has continued and made Call of Duty an unpopular joke in the mainstream. Still, again, financially successful. They got plenty of microtransactions, plenty of player bases to be with it, but it's not been a thrilling success like they would have wished. And they have yet to even come close to toppling Fortnite in its player base, in its revenue, and its success. So again, different perspectives and lenses to see this all. I wanted to share it with you. I felt compelled, right? I'm stuck. I'm having a massive writer's block to finishing a Cinderman video I'm working on for Cyberpunk. But in the meantime, I had to talk about this. It is something that is incredibly taking the video game industry by storm. I felt motivated to talk about it, and it's exciting to see a brand new game, a new pillar being erected in 2024 to 2025. I hope to see a lot of excitement towards these games in the future, and I hope it continues to be a well-supported game and a well-loved game by the community. I think the sky's the limit because of how strong the IP is and what they've already built. They've built a solid foundation. I think it's going to be able to grow in a way that's going to be compelling for young players, for older players, for casual and experts. How problematic the shop system gets, the skins and all that, is going to be interesting. That's the biggest one. Is Fortnite, as far as I understand, again, I didn't play Fortnite, but as far as I understand pop culture wise, it has never had that problem where you needed to buy a season pass to get a skin or gun that was in the meta that was prohibited to you being successful in the game. Warzone did that all the time, where they hid stuff behind having to buy their season pass. And that just further muddies the ground and causes bigger and bigger issues. The shop seemed like cosmetics only, and that's what a lot of people really argued for in Fortnite's success. Is you don't need the cosmetics, it's just bonuses. And people fall in love with the games and they want to represent, express themselves. It was a really good synergy for that to work. Now, I'm sure you can tell me, I'd be interested if you know, was there ever a time in Fortnite that it had those issues where something was guarded in a season pass or was guarded in a skin that fundamentally changed your ability to win or lose inside Fortnite? That has happened in Call of Duty's equivalent because it doesn't translate, in my perspective, one-to-one. Where a Marvel Rivals, it can fit just fine, and Overwatch, it can fit just fine. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me out. It's great to see you. I hope to be producing a whole bunch more content, but I got busy. I got real jobs. Yay! Yay, success. But also, no, it takes away from my YouTube. Thank you to all the patrons that support these videos. Thank you to Evelyn, Octahedral Entertainment, Beefy, Awesomenator, The Taco Games, S9, Deputy Flakes, Anon Zen, and Mr. Burger for supporting me on Patreon. You make my videos possible, and I really appreciate it. I have more content coming out, so look forward to it. Good to see you. Have fun, and maybe I'll see you in a match of Marvel Rivals. It's cool to have a fun, exciting game right now. So enjoy it while it lasts, because it's probably going to turn into a toxic mess someday. All right.